Before wealth ever shows up in your bank account, it must first show up in your mind. Have you ever wondered why some people can lose everything and rebuild it again while others struggle even when opportunity knocks? It's not luck, it's not chance, it's mindset. The rich don't just have wealth, they think wealth. And today, I'll show you how to cultivate that same inner foundation. Stay with me until the end, because once you master wealth thinking, your finances, your future, and your life will never be the same again. 1. Vision creates value. Every fortune begins as an idea, and every idea begins in the silent workshop of the mind. Vision is the seed of all material success. It is what transforms potential into prosperity. The mind sees the future long before the hands build it. To the ordinary person, reality is fixed and immovable. To the visionary, reality is flexible clay waiting to be shaped. Wealth thinkers don't ask, "What do I have?" They ask, "What can I create?" That question changes everything. It shifts the focus from limitation to imagination, from scarcity to abundance, from reaction to creation. Vision is not fantasy. It is the discipline of seeing what could be and then organizing life around that picture. Every great enterprise, invention, and empire began as a mental image, nurtured by someone who refused to let circumstances dictate the boundaries of possibility. Vision turns ordinary people into architects of value. When you can see a future so clearly that it feels inevitable, you move differently. You speak, plan, and act with conviction. People feel that energy. They are drawn to it. Vision magnetizes resources, opportunities, and allies because clarity breeds confidence. The clearer your picture of the future, the faster you attract what aligns with it. A person without vision drifts, chasing the tides of opportunity with no compass. A person with vision commands the waves. They understand that vision is not about predicting the future, but producing it. It is a creative act, not a passive dream. A clear future pulls you forward, especially when today feels uncertain. The Stoics taught that external events are beyond our control, but our perception and direction are not. Vision gives us internal control. It defines what matters, what to endure, and what to ignore. It keeps your mind anchored when the world feels chaotic. Without vision, you chase money. With vision, money chases you. Why? Because vision creates value. People don't pay for labor. They pay for the value labor produces. Vision multiplies the impact of every effort, turning simple actions into meaningful contributions. It gives purpose to profit and soul to success. See it before you have it, and you begin to become it. The imagination is the workshop of the soul where you build the identity capable of achieving your dream. The person who can vividly see their future self becomes that self through alignment, effort, and faith. When you believe in a vision deeply enough, you begin to act as if it's already true, and soon, the world begins to agree with you. That is how invisible wealth becomes visible, how thought becomes thing, and how ordinary lives become extraordinary legacies. Every fortune begins not in the bank, but in the mind of a visionary who dares to look beyond what is and see what could be. 2. Self-education as capital. Formal education can earn you a living. Self-education can earn you a fortune. The difference is not in intelligence, but in initiative. Formal education teaches you what to think. Self-education teaches you how to think. The wealthy understand this. They don't wait for teachers, degrees, or systems to grant them permission to grow. They pick up books, watch lectures, ask questions, and learn relentlessly. Knowledge is the original capital, and unlike money, It cannot be stolen or lost. It multiplies the more you use it. Wealthy minds invest in learning long before earning. They understand that income is a lagging indicator of insight. Before money appears in your account, wisdom must appear in your mind. The poor look for jobs. The wealthy look for knowledge. Every hour spent learning expands your capacity to create value. They read, listen, study, ask, and apply. They turn curiosity into currency. The richest people on earth are not those who know the most facts, but those who know how to apply knowledge to solve problems. Knowledge compounds faster than interest. Each idea you master connects to others, creating exponential growth. Every book, mentor, and failure contains capital if you are willing to extract the lesson. The self-educated see the world as a classroom, where every experience is a lesson in disguise. Self-education is not about collecting information. It is about transformation. To learn is to change your thinking, and to change your thinking is to change your results. The mind, once expanded by a new idea, never returns to its old dimensions. When you learn how wealth is created, you stop waiting for it and start creating it. The person who invests daily in their mind becomes unstoppable, because the world cannot take away what you have become. Pour wisdom into your mind, and wealth will flow from your life. When you know more, you can do more. And when you can do more, you can become more. The Stoics, too, were self-educated. Epictetus began as a slave, yet became a philosopher whose wisdom has endured millennia. Marcus Aurelius, though emperor, studied daily to discipline his thoughts. They knew that self-mastery begins with self-learning. In every era, those who dedicate themselves to growth become the leaders, the innovators, the creators of value. The library is a treasury greater than gold, for its riches can be infinitely reproduced. In a changing world, the most valuable skill is the ability to keep learning. Wealth built on information decays. Wealth built on understanding endures. The mind is the ultimate marketplace, and education, self-driven, intentional education, is the currency that never loses value. 3. Discipline before dollars. Money follows management. Wealth is not found, it is built, sustained, and multiplied through discipline. Discipline is the invisible bridge between goals and greatness. The person who cannot control their habits will never control their finances, because money amplifies what you already are. If you are careless with little, you will be reckless with much. Wealth arrives where discipline lives, and it leaves where chaos reigns. The undisciplined mind chases instant pleasure and wonders why it remains poor. The disciplined mind endures temporary discomfort and builds permanent prosperity. Set routines. Keep promises to yourself. Delay pleasure to create prosperity. These small acts of self-control accumulate into massive results over time. Every morning you wake early, every dollar you save, every moment you resist distraction, you strengthen your inner infrastructure for wealth. Discipline builds confidence, and confidence builds income. When you trust yourself to do what you said you would, you move through life with quiet certainty. That inner trust radiates outward. It makes others trust you too. Discipline is the foundation of reliability, and reliability is the foundation of success. Before wealth fills your pockets, discipline must fill your character. You cannot manage what you cannot master. The Stoics taught that freedom is found not in indulgence but in self-control. No man is free who is not master of himself, wrote Epictetus. Discipline is not punishment, it is power. It means you are no longer a slave to impulse or emotion. It is the art of governing your inner world so that your outer world can flourish. Every successful entrepreneur, investor, and creator knows that wealth is the reward for consistent execution, not sporadic inspiration. The richest assets are habits, not dollars. Habits compound just like interest. The more you invest in them, the more they pay you back. A single disciplined decision, like spending an hour reading daily or saving a portion of your income, can ripple across decades. Discipline is not glamorous, but it is undefeated. It doesn't make noise, it makes results. The undisciplined wait for motivation. The disciplined rely on systems. The undisciplined look for shortcuts. The disciplined build structures. Wealth is not luck. It is the natural consequence of structured effort repeated over time. Discipline transforms desire into destiny. It converts wishful thinking into measurable progress. It gives shape to vision and direction to energy. In a world obsessed with speed, discipline teaches the value of pace. It reminds you that what grows fast often fades fast, but what grows with patience endures. Before you ask for abundance, ask for order. Before you demand riches, demand self-respect. Because in the end, wealth is not about what you have. It's about who you've become through the process of earning it. The disciplined become wealthy because they are worthy of wealth. They do not chase it, they attract it by being the kind of people who can handle it. 4. Beliefs shape habits. Your beliefs are the architects of your behavior, the invisible roots that give rise to the visible fruits of your life. Every habit you hold, whether empowering or destructive, was first a thought, then a belief, and finally a repeated action. You can never outwork or outperform the limits of your own mind. If you secretly believe that money is evil, you will sabotage opportunities that lead to abundance. If you think success belongs only to the lucky, you will unconsciously stop yourself from even trying. Your beliefs form the boundaries of your potential. They set the thermostat of your destiny. Change the belief, and your entire life begins to shift. What you hold as true becomes the foundation upon which your habits are built, and your habits, in turn, shape your results. People often chase tactics, productivity systems, new careers, new side hustles, without realizing that tactics cannot override toxic beliefs. You can read every book on wealth, follow every principle of success, and still remain stagnant if your inner narrative whispers that you're not good enough, not ready, or not deserving. The mind is a garden. What you plant grows, whether it's weeds or wheat. If you repeatedly tell yourself that wealth requires greed, then you'll subconsciously distance yourself from every situation that could make you prosperous. Beliefs act like filters. They decide what you notice, what you attract, and what you act upon. Until you upgrade your inner story, the outer world remains unchanged. True transformation begins when you give yourself permission. Permission to succeed, to expand, to live differently from what you were taught. Many grow up hearing messages like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "Rich people are selfish." These ideas sink deep into the subconscious and harden into habits of avoidance and guilt. To break free, you must challenge the programming. Ask yourself, who told me this? What evidence do I have that it's true? When you begin questioning limiting beliefs, you reclaim your power from them. You become the author, not the actor, of your mental script. Wealthy thinking starts not with greed, but with gratitude, with the understanding that abundance, properly directed, serves others as much as yourself. Once your beliefs evolve, your behavior naturally follows. A person who believes that wealth is a form of service begins to see money as a tool for good, an amplifier of virtue. They start saving, investing, Building, creating value instead of chasing validation. A person who believes growth is natural will approach failure as feedback, not as shame. They form habits of learning, not fear. Slowly, the mind rewires itself. You begin to make choices aligned with expansion, not contraction. The discipline that once felt forced now feels natural, even inevitable. That's the quiet power of belief. It doesn't just change how you think, it changes what feels normal. Look around at your life right now. Your income, your health, your relationships, they are mirrors reflecting your dominant beliefs. If you think the world is hostile, you'll live guarded. If you think it's abundant, you'll act generously. This is not mystical, it's psychological. Your brain is always looking for confirmation of what it already believes. So believe wisely. Cultivate thoughts that empower, affirm, and elevate. Train your inner dialogue to speak life into your vision. When you believe that you can rise, you begin to see doors where others see walls. What you consistently hold in your mind, you will one day hold in your hands. Change the inner picture, and the outer world rearranges itself accordingly. Belief precedes behavior, and behavior builds destiny. 5. Action destroys doubt. Dreams die not from impossibility, but from inertia. You can have the clearest vision, the most detailed plan, and the strongest desire, but until you act, nothing changes. Action is the sculptor that carves possibility into reality. Those who wait for confidence before acting will wait forever, because confidence is not the cause of action, it is the consequence of it. The first step forward, no matter how uncertain, begins to quiet the noise of doubt. You don't need to know the entire path, you only need to take the next step. Momentum is born in motion, not meditation. The wealthy understand this deeply. They move, they test, they iterate, and they learn by doing. Action transforms anxiety into clarity, and hesitation into strength. Most people think their problem is lack of knowledge, when in truth, it's lack of movement. You don't need another seminar, another book, or another plan. You need to start. The world rewards execution, not intention. Think of every successful person you admire. They didn't wait to feel ready. They acted while afraid. They began before they believed. Each small move compounded into mastery. The act of doing dissolves doubt because it gives you evidence of progress. Every task completed, every challenge faced, whispers a new truth to your subconscious. I can do this. Slowly, belief replaces uncertainty. The cycle reverses. Action breeds confidence, and confidence fuels more action. Action also purifies ideas. A dream, untested by effort, remains abstract and romantic. But once you act, reality begins to refine it. What works becomes visible. What doesn't dissolves. The feedback from movement is more valuable than 1,000 hours of theory. The wealthy are not necessarily smarter. They're simply willing to make imperfect moves and adjust along the way. They know that hesitation drains energy while momentum multiplies it. When you move, even clumsily, you invite clarity. You discover that success is not a single leap, but a series of small, faithful steps. Many wait for motivation, but action itself is the generator of motivation. Movement changes your emotional state. The moment you begin doing, writing the email, making the call, taking the walk, you shift from thinking to being. The mind aligns with the body, and fear loses its grip. The Stoics taught that willpower strengthens only through use, like a muscle. Every act of courage, every decision to move despite doubt, thickens the fiber of resolve. Action is both medicine and momentum. It is how we train our spirit to act according to reason, not emotion. The wise know that it's better to move imperfectly than to stay paralyzed in imagined perfection. Dreams without action are hallucinations, beautiful but empty. The bridge between desire and destiny is paved with daily decisions. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. The tools may be humble, but the will can be mighty. One decision today can redirect the next decade. While others wait for certainty, step forward in faith. Motion reveals what hesitation hides. Action is how the unseen becomes seen, how thought becomes form. The path to wealth, to mastery, to peace is walked, not wished. So move. Act again and again until movement becomes your nature. For when you act consistently, you discover the greatest truth of all. Doubt cannot survive in the presence of decisive motion. Wealth is first a mental achievement, then a financial one. Fill your mind with vision, knowledge, discipline, belief, and action, and wealth will no longer be a destination, but a natural result. Become rich mentally before financially, and the world will eventually reflect the richness within you.